Welcome, everyone. It's Friday. Oh, yes, it is. A little bit is ready for the day. He's always ready. He's always ready. You know, he's such an inspiration. Why? Because to learn is to apply. Remember Biscuit? Biscuit's gotten a lot better at crying. Why? Because he got up and he learned. One day, he just got up and he just started to make a noise. And I said, "Oh, you're a feller. You're a feller." Why do they learn? So they can apply it. Why do we learn? So we can apply. Well, ask yourself that. What question? If it is correct that the whole point of learning is to apply, well, how are you doing what you're doing right now? You learned to do it. You learned to do it. That's exactly what it is. The purpose of learning is to apply. So what are we going to apply? We are going to apply the use of the principles deliberately. Because as you and I know, they are always at work. Rhythm is at work right now. How so? Well, we've got an and a flow. Today is the 5th. Oh, my math. 16 days. And if you are in the northern hemisphere, the days will begin to get longer. That is rhythm. That's when you know, hold on, girl, spring is a-coming. Right? That's how you know. It is predictable. So someone learned through observation. Did they not? They had to observe it to see the pattern. And now we live by it. So you see, part of learning is observation. Watch. Pay attention. Look at what you're doing. Hallelujah. You see, sometimes things do not appear to change. Right? Isn't there a saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same? Because the main rhythm, the main pattern has not changed. So it doesn't matter how you gloss it up, how you dress it up. If you do not change the root, the plant remains the same. Well, you can prune it as much as you want. But if you do not change the root, what is the root? Well, what is that thing that you keep doing? And you keep doing it so much that you say to yourself, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep doing this? You see, that is not your cue to judge yourself. That is your cue to look at what you're doing and to decide that it is no longer functional for you at this space and time. That's what it's for. So you have to learn a new way of being. A new way of being? Yes. A new mental attitude. A new mental attitude. So we're going to recap today because this is why we learn, is it not? So that we can apply. So that we can apply. Whatever that thing is that you're going through today. You see, looking at it through the lens of our eyes and our senses, it looks like it may not be changing. Hmm? Maliki Abiti, do me a favor and I'll help you out. I'm just putting this in the chat. I'm coming right back. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just, bear with me, y'all. There. Send me a note there. Okay? I think we just had a little bit of a glitch right now, but that's okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, we do have a little bit of a glitch here on YouTube and Facebook. But alas, it is, it's working itself out. Don't worry. We're learning the art of patience, are we not? We totally are. I think we're okay. But we'll know about it. Let's carry on. I don't know if they can hear me on YouTube. I think they can. If you can hear me on YouTube, can you just drop a message in the chat so I know that we're still okay and that you can hear me? Let me know because it seems like there's something weird going on. Tech, you gotta love tech. But what I'm saying to you is you are always going to see it because it cannot stay hidden. It's not meant to be hidden. But because we say to ourselves, oh man, I can't change. It's too hard to change. We say things like that. When we say, oh, I can't, the only reason you say it is because you can't see it on the outside. You can't see how it could be possible on the outside. But if you would take your time to see it on the inside, as within, so without. The reason you cannot see it on the outside is because you're not looking at it on the inside. So how do you do it? When you ask yourself, man, what would I be doing if? When you ask yourself that question, when you ask yourself that question, you are now beginning to paint the picture of what you want to become. You're painting the picture of what you want to become. Reason being, and some people say, well, Angela, I can't visualize. I don't know how to visualize, Angela. Right? People say, I don't know how to visualize. Do you think visualization is forced? The reason why you, quote unquote, cannot visualize is because there's no story. There isn't one. You're trying to force something into existence, this thing you want to visualize, because you're looking at things. But to help you, quote unquote, visualize, look at the thing you would be doing. When you start to answer the question of what I would be doing if, that's where the image is formed. From that spot, what would I be doing if? What would I be doing? And when you ask yourself, well, what would I be doing? What happens? You begin to answer the question. And when you begin to answer the question, what happens? You start to see all the things you would be doing, thereby helping you to visualize. But because we get caught up in all of these fancy words, visualize, get your vision board. You see, if you look at something, right, you're going to recognize you need a medium, which means you need something to show you the evidence of what you're doing. If you were a potter, your medium would be clay because you have to see what you're making in the clay. So the medium that you need is your life. Look at it. But Angela, it's impossible. I can't. I can't do this. Do you know how long I've been trying to make this happen? That's the point. You've been trying to make it happen, but you have not set down the muscle memory, the mental attitude. That's why things haven't changed. Not because you're being taught a lesson and you got to switch your way through it. No, your mental attitude remains exactly the same. Thus, you get the same result. So when you learn to do something, the application of it at class last night, it was a small class last night because nobody really wants to leave the house in the winter, right? They don't. So there was about 5 of them in the class. And so he just had them sparring now. He would give them these bouts to, and he'd correct them when they're sparring and everything. And so that was one of the first nights that Noah got to spar. Like, yeah, they always work with each other and they practice their moves and stuff, but it was different. Whereas you were in the timer and you had to hit. You had to be hit. You had to fight, right? And as he started, because I'm watching, sometimes it's hard to watch because I get a little, you know, so it's hard to watch and I get overwhelmed and I cry and whatever, not whatnot. But I said, I'm just going to watch. And I watched each person as they did what they did when they were sparring. And the coach would say, lift your hands, or no elbows, or don't just kick, you punch, blah, 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 right? So now the coach could get a sense of what each person was learning. And the student could also get a sense of what they learned. How? Because they had to apply the blows. They had to hit each other. They're all wearing protective gear, right? They had to land their punches, you know? And he said to me, "Mom, that was awesome. I finally got to try out what I was learning." So you see, when I say to you, practice your mental attitude, when I say practice your mental attitude, that's what you're doing. Every time you test your mental attitude, you will see the evidence on the outside, in the outside world, right away. But you see, we get caught up because we say, well, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Look for the evidence of holding the mental attitude. Look for the evidence of holding the mental attitude. You do not look for the evidence of the thing. If you look for the evidence of holding the correct mental attitude, there will be the subtle changes that you will notice. And over time, it takes shape. Over time, it takes shape. Let me see if I can put it to you another way. We have this saying, seeing is believing. That is false. That's why so many of us are stuck, because we keep wanting to see it without having believed it into existence first. You only see the evidence of what you hold to be true. So then believing is seeing. Believing is seeing. And as I said, it looks in the very beginning, it looks like it is not happening. It gets frustrating, right? But what I want to tell you is you do not give up. Why not? You do not become a master of yourself by giving up on the self. You don't do that. In order to master the self, you must keep applying. And you have to see, he was so proud of himself last night. At one point, I watched him and he turned his back on his opponent. And I said to myself, well, that can't be good. And the coach said, never turn your back. So when he got in the car, I said, "Why did you turn your back?" He says, "Ma, I lost my balance. And the only way that I could think to stay on my feet was to pivot. So I had to turn to keep the momentum so that I wouldn't fall." But how would you know to keep your balance if you do not put yourself in the position to test what you have learned? You have to test yourself with your mental attitude, your good mood, your bad mood, your indifferent mood, because mental attitude just means your mood. It just means your mood. Neville Goddard says it's the state that you're in. So your mental attitude is what you're practicing. Keep your eyes there. Why? Because that mental attitude, the more you practice it, takes physical shape. But if you do not practice a new mental attitude, a new mood, then the old shape remains. We want to change jobs, but we keep complaining about the old one. Where's your mental attitude? Then, if you can see the mental attitude and the mental mood, you get up every morning and you hate going where you're going. Look at that mental attitude, look at that mood. And then you're going to ask, you're going to have the audacity to ask, why am I still stuck at this job? Because mentally, you're there. You must move yourself mentally from where you presently are. Don't worry about the new job. You already know you want a new one. Paint the picture of what the new one looks like instead of painting the picture of what you hate. Why? Because the picture you paint is the one that expresses. You see, it is irrelevant what picture you paint. It is always going to express itself. The picture you paint is irrelevant. Good, bad, indifferent, ugly, it doesn't matter. What you need to know is, so long as you paint a picture, it expresses. That is what you need to know. So you're looking for a job. You want a new ride. You want a man. You want a woman. You want a career, or you want to be an entrepreneur. It starts with your mental attitude, not your business plan. Your business plan forms as a result of the mental attitude, the mental mood. You want to grow your business, you have to grow it mentally first. How do you grow it mentally? How do you do anything mentally? By asking, what would I be doing? If I were running a successful business, what would I be doing? What is the evidence that I would see that tells me, oh my God, I made it through the rain? What's the evidence? There'd be something you'd be doing that would show you. There would be something you would be doing that shows you you made it. What is that? What is that thing that you can see? When you see it, you begin to realize that your mental mood, mental attitude, state of mind has changed. So, how do you sustain it? You can't sustain it, but you can habituate it. Hello? I don't know if that's a word, but I'll tell you what it means. If you see in your mind's eye and you hold that mental mood, they tell you 17 seconds and something will manifest. Another thought will come along just like it. Hold it for 17 seconds. Yay, 17 seconds, you did it. Now what? Hold it again for 17 seconds. Every time you remember, hold it again for 17 seconds. Why? Because what you do the same way every time becomes your habit. Because remember, you can't sustain it. Viagra tells you for sure. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. It cannot be sustained, but it can be habituated, which gives the impression of always doing it. or sustaining it. So every time you entertain a particular mental attitude over and over and over again, you make it your habit to go to that place mentally. And that place that you return to mentally will give you the corresponding experience every single time. So you make your new mental attitude a habit. How do you make a habit? By doing it the same way every time. We're online Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a habit, not a schedule. It is a habit. It's a habit. You get up at the same time every day to do what you do. It is a habit. We are habits. We are patterns. And if you can see yourself in such a way, now you grasp how easy it is for you to change. That mental attitude, you must observe it. Especially when I hear, Angela, that's all nice and good, but you know what? You don't know how long I've been at this. I've tried some of everything. That's my point. At the moment you say that to me, "Oh, I've tried some about just about everything," you know what that tells me? You've not made a habit of any one of them. That's why nothing has changed. Because you have not made a mental habit of it. You keep changing because this doesn't work, so let me try this. Well, that doesn't work, let me try this. There's only one thing to do. Master the mental attitude. Master the mental attitude. Your state of mind, your mindset. You can call it what you want. All these fancy terms. But it is your mindset. Where's your mindset upon? What you are capable of. And here's something to make it easy for yourself. Because when we start saying things like, well, I don't know if I'm capable, you don't have to be capable. Oh, you don't have to be capable of anything. You have to apply the principles. And that is what makes you capable, the application of the principles. Because change is never forced, is it? How do you do it? How do you do it? I want somebody to drop something in the chat, wherever you are. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or Fanbase, what is one thing? And we'll walk through it right now. One thing that you want to change. And we'll help you with that mindset right here and right now. Because there's no sense in talking to you if you don't have your real life example. I'll wait. And while we wait, we'll say, I don't know, I think that's copyright. It's like, can't anyone do that? So while we wait, drop it in the chat. You don't have to. It could be just put one word in there. What is it that you want to become? Just one word. You drop it in the chat, and we'll do it. All right then. You see? Good. All right. It is only a habit. It is only a habit. Gambling is only a habit. Why? Because you went, you enjoyed it. You did it again, you've enjoyed it. And you keep doing it the same way every time. It is only a habit. Now, you must replace it with something. So if you weren't doing that, what would you be doing? If you weren't gambling, what would you be doing? Would you be investing more money? Would you be traveling more? What would you be doing that you want to do now that you can't do because you're gambling? What would you be doing? You have to answer that question. I would be, you have to answer the question. I'll give you a minute to type. This is what we're going to do. We're going to flesh it out for you because I want you to see what you're actually doing. I know science would say, oh, you're trying to fill a void. Stop it. Madness. It's just a habit. Just a habit. You're not trying to fill anything. It's just a habit. You want to change? If that is the determination, then what would you be doing if you were not gambling? Because look at the mental attitude behind it. Look at the mental attitude behind it. You, as I'm talking to you, you know the mental attitude you feel when you leading up to doing it, while you're doing it, and after you do it. Do you see that mental attitude? Because you say to yourself, oh man, you know better. You should not. Look at you. You can't control yourself. Why? And you feel guilty. You feel ashamed. You see the mental attitude that you're presently occupying? That's your present mental attitude. So if you were unashamed, well, you'd be proud of yourself. Have you ever done something where you felt proud of yourself? Do you remember what that feels like? When you, uh, so if you say you'd be investing in something, good. Okay. You see how proud of yourself you feel when you accomplish something you set out to do? Do you remember a time where you felt like that, proud of yourself? Because right now you're dealing with the, ah, I'm feeling ashamed of that. The present mental attitude is feeling ashamed, but you want to feel proud of yourself. So then you have to look at, when did I ever feel proud of myself? What would it feel like to be proud of myself? Oh, and you begin now because now you have moved from shame to pride. And let's not get all bent out of shape when I say pride. You see, this is what I mean by these words. So it's okay to be ashamed of yourself? Ew. No, it's not. Feeling ashamed of yourself will make you do some crazy things. And that's not what you want. You want to be proud of yourself. You want to look in the mirror and go, dun, 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 I did it. Yeah, I did it. That's me. I did it. Ow, that's me. I did it. You want to be the one in the mirror to say that. So you see that mental attitude that is beginning to blossom right there where you feel proud of yourself? I don't care if you were proud of yourself that you vacuumed or proud of yourself that you mowed the grass, proud of yourself that you did the dishes. It is irrelevant what you feel proud about. Just feel pride in yourself and the fact that, oh, I accomplished. All you're doing is swapping one mindset for another. So when you start to feel proud of yourself now, that image comes to mind. The way you walk changes. The way you talk changes. Who you interact with changes. The places you go begin to change as well because you feel proud of yourself. So you only want to go where those things, and naturally you'll go places that make that pride of self feel better. Not to be confused with arrogance. Like I said, let's not split hairs. You're just moving yourself from one mental state to another. So now that you start to feel proud of yourself, how many times a day can you feel proud of yourself? You don't have to do it for very long. Just how many times a day can you do it? Can you feel that? Because if you pay attention, how many times a day have you been entertaining the shame and the guilt? How many times a day have you been doing that? Now you've got to do the I feel good. You got to do that now. How many times a day can you do it? And how long can you hold it for? 13 seconds? 3 seconds? 2 seconds? Good. Point yourself in that direction over and over and over and over because it feels good. You're going to want to go there. And you will get instances when you say to yourself, please, who you think you're fooling? You ain't never going to change. You're going to get moments like that. But the only reason that arises is because that old habit has been there a little bit longer. That's all. It's not there to tell you that you can't change. It's just there to say, hey, don't leave me this way. That's your habit. I can't survive. I can't stay alive. Well, that's your old habit telling you, don't leave me, baby. But you pull the Patti LaBelle and you said, I got a new attitude. And in order for you to get to know that new attitude, what do you got to do? You've got to entertain it. Try a little tenderness. That's what you got to do with that new attitude. That new attitude. Now give it your attention. Because you know when she says, I can't survive without your love. You have to love the new attitude. Even though the old attitude is saying, baby, don't leave me. I can't make it without you. Even though the old attitude is saying that to you, that pride of self says, oh, baby, you had me too long and you didn't know what to do with me. I don't need you anymore. And you wash your hands of the situation and you say, I got me a new attitude. Over and over and over. And every time the old comes up and says, but what about us? You say, I got a new attitude. That's all your job is. Stay in the new attitude habitually. Do it the same way every day. That's it. Why? Because you're actually setting down a neurological pathway. Right now, the old neurological pathway is pretty strong, right? Because you've just been doing it longer. That's all. But the new one, you've got to walk in it, talk in it, move with it, lean with it, rock with it, right? You got to do that day in and day out. And you don't have to force it either. You know why you don't have to force it? Because you want to change. That's why. Because you want to change. And because you want to change, you are excited about the fact that you want to change. And you say, ooh, do it again. And you get excited about it. And it is the excitement of your change that keeps you faithful to the change. That's why you do it. That's why you do it, and that's how you do it. So you take yourself from guilt and shame to pride. Pride of accomplishment. Think about that for a moment. Rehearse your testimony, if you will. You could stand and say to anybody, let me tell you what I used to be like. I used to. Key word is used to. But you're not doing it anymore. Where are you doing it now? You're over here. You're saying, I can turn around and look and see how far I've come. I know what I used to be. You can practice feeling what it would be like as you give your testimony. There's nothing more beautiful than that. Like when you feel it ignite in your chest and your bosom, you're like, ooh, that's nice. But you make a habit out of that feeling. And you begin to literally form muscle memory. Of course, you start forming the muscle memory of your new attitude. And once you form the muscle memory for your new attitude, you have to do it now. You have to live it out and you have to have those types of experiences. because now you're going from what's new inside. I just wanted to do a Tom Joe. What's new, pussycat? You know what? Let me stop. That new thing that is within you, that you have spent the time to set down, that's what you do. And because you keep doing it, you're making it a habit. And because now you've made it a habit, listen, you drive your car the same way. If you drive with Miss McQueen, you know what she drives like because you've been driving with her for a while. You know somebody gonna get cussed out. Sorry, Scotch bonnet. Because it's a habit. You know exactly how she's gonna behave behind the wheel. It's the same with everybody. That neurological pathway took you some time to set down. But how you make it set down faster is to feel it, to know that, oh my God, I am changing. And you become excited by your change, you set down that pathway. Well, think about it. The thing that excites you is the thing that you do. It leaves an impression upon you. So allow your new attitude to leave an impression upon you. Do you understand what it means to leave an impression upon someone? You literally set a groove down in their brain. That's what you've done. That's what it means to leave an impression. Where else would you leave the impression? On the only impressionable thing there is, the psyche. Anyway, I trust that that makes sense for you to take yourself from guilt and shame to pride. You're polarizing yourself because the moment you are polarized with guilt and shame, watch your behavior. It'll become very predictable, darling. So if you change your mental attitude to that of pride, well, then that behavior will change. Those experiences will change to match. Even though you don't see it just yet on the outside, if you pay attention, you will see it. We get caught up in saying, I can't see anything. It's not changing. We say that and we're like, and that's what blinds the eye. You don't have to see the evidence. You have to know. Even though you're working on a case and you don't see the evidence right away, as a forensic scientist, you just got to look. And the evidence will always make itself known. Why? Because as within, so without. Hello. So you don't have to hope and wish. Just get the right mental attitude. Listen, I know we had some technical difficulties this morning, and so I have prattled on long enough. I just want you to know that's how you move yourself from guilt and shame to pride. And you cannot get hung up on the fact of, yeah, but Angela, isn't pride a sin? Fine. Stay in your guilt and shame. Stay in it. Wallow in it. And then what will you do in the morning? Get up and complain about you hate where you're at. So take pride in yourself to get out from where you are. Instead of allowing people to tell you, oh, pride in yourself is a sin because pride comes before a fall. Clearly, they're just regurgitating something they've heard. If you don't feel good about yourself, how do you think you will behave? Well, I can tell you exactly how you'll behave. And then the funny thing is this, not haha funny, but the funny thing is, when we dislike ourselves and we don't like where we're at and we feel icky about it, we complain about it. God, I hate this feeling. Yet the way out for you is to feel better about yourself and to have some pride in yourself and your very own existence. And we say, but it's a sin. You know what a sin is? To miss the mark. Meaning you did not accomplish what you set out to do. So every day that you do not accomplish your goal is a sin. Not sin as in, oh my God, fornicator. Ugh. You see what I'm saying? Judgment blinds the eye and deafens the ear. So take some pride in your very existence. I am here, and I intend to have the best life I can possibly have. That is taking pride in yourself, as opposed to the world is so hard. Oh, every time I try, oh, save me, Lord. If you don't get up, child, if you do not get up, nobody can move you from there. You have to get up. Use pride. Pride is like a fire. You know, some people say, I got to light a fire under your butt to get you moving. Yeah, that's what the psychological fire is. Pride of self. Feeling good about yourself. You don't look in the mirror to judge what you look like. You look in the mirror to see the evidence of where you're holding your mental attitude. Anywho, I trust that these things made a little bit of sense to you today. Oh, but Angela, I want to save my marriage. Well, first of all, it better not be violent, because if it is, you better leave. But you know what? That's not what we're here for. If you want to save it, you have to change. Why? As within, so without. When you change, things change. When you change, things change. And the only thing to change is that mental attitude. Like Sinbad said, you know, in that first 10 years, you're like, oh my God, there he is. He's so sweet. And you're like, oh my God, she's so lovely. 10 years later, there he goes. There she go. Mm. It's simple. You change your mental attitude. It is only a mental attitude. And it's like a pair of shoes, your mental attitude. You can put them on and look at them in the mirror and twist and turn and go, oh, I feel good in these here red shoes. Hello? Or you can put some Mary Janes on and go, ooh, these are nice. But they're like garments, your moods. You can change them at will. Oh, I don't like the way this one looks on me. Let me try something where I can pop my collar. The mental mood, the mental attitude, your state of mind is what needs to change. And the outside world will bend and mold and shape itself. Kind of like the Green Lantern. The image did not emit from his ring. He used the ring as a medium to see what he was doing. The image came from his mind's eye, and he projected it into the ring so that the material world could take shape. What do you think you're doing? Exactly that. Projecting your mental images out into the world. As within, so without, after all. Anywho, these chickens aren't going to feed themselves. A little bit was up and at him early this morning. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So what are you going to do today when you go out into the world? You going to walk with your head down? Nah. Keep your head up. You know what? Pull a Tupac. Keep your head up. Why? Because then you can see where you're going. You run into things when you got your head hanging down. Doubt me, do you? Try it. You must keep your head up, eyes forward. That's where they point. You don't look at the chicken head on because his eyes are not head on. His eyes are on the sides of his head. So I look at him from the side in his purview. Yes. So remember, the whole point of learning is so you can test yourself to see what you have accomplished. Can you hold your mental attitude? Can you change your mental attitude at will? Well, practice, and you'll see the evidence in the outside world. And with that, my beautiful friends, let me say hello to everybody who's here. Um, Maliki Abiti, hello again. Michael, you came back. You were on YouTube too. Melly Mel is here. There's quite a few people in there, actually, in these YouTube, Facebook streets. I see you. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties. Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties, y'all. We made it. Oh, yes, we did. Twitter, well, you see, I told you Twitter's for the replay gang. Fanbase, who's kicking it with us today? My sweet KZ. Big Mike is in the house. Toyera. Hey, girl. Miss McQueen. Scotch bonnet. Maggie, I see you. Maggie. See, I can do it too. Ray, I see you. Coach. Coach. My word, how long has it been since I've seen you last? It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh my goodness, it has been a while. Well, it is good to see you. It is definitely good to see you. Wow. But don't be a stranger. Oh, look, who went way over time this morning? We already an hour in. Well, you know what, YouTube? We were having technical difficulties, so we're right on time. Anywho, don't let me keep you. What are you going to practice today? Remember, the thing that you want to become is a mental attitude. It is a mental attitude. This is why sometimes they say that doctors have a God complex, like surgeons, they have a God complex. That's their mental attitude. I can save a life. I can do this. I can do that. That's their mental attitude, their state of mind, their mental mood. So the thing, the physical thing will only take shape when you give it shape. By way of what? Your mental attitude. Your mindset, your state of mind. You can listen to any New Yorker. You just got to spend a moment with them and you'll know they're from New York. Because they have a certain attitude. They have a certain state of mind, a New York state of mind. See, states of mind exist all around us, but we don't pay attention. So pay attention to your state of mind, and you will understand why your life shows itself, because it must. Anyway, like I said, these chickens are not going to feed themselves. He going to be looking at me, hopping out in the hallway, talking about, where's my food at? Where's my food? He going to rush me. But you know, he hasn't rushed me lately. He hasn't rushed me lately, I'll tell you that. Because mama got down in his face all cute. I said, who's my baby? Oh, who's my little Pookie? And you know you can't fool them. Because they don't hear you, they don't speak the language, but they feel the vibration. So that's how I practice. If I can raise my vibration to a level that calms, I know how he'll respond. And he does it instantly. But if I go in there and I'm afraid of him, that's a whole nother story. So you see, practice the mental attitude and your surroundings will change for you in an instant. You got to be able to see it. Look, man, I gotta go. I gotta go. But I just love y'all so much. I just love being here with you. And oh, we're gonna tune in because I'm gonna drop it for you like it's hot right now. There's definitely a perspective because I'm just gonna allude to it. I don't know when I'll talk to you about it because I want to spend some more time with it. But you know how they say water has memory? It's not memory. It's not memory. You remember the experiment that Mr. Yamamoto did with freezing the water? We're going to talk about that. And remember Dr. Bruce Lipton when he did the experiment with the cells in the petri dish? We're going to talk about that because it's not what you think it is. It is far greater. Far greater. And what triggered that for me was this woman talking about speaking to your glass of water and then drinking it. And I it just triggered it for me. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. So I'm going to explain all of that to y'all another day. I just wanted to pique your curiosity. I just wanted to pique your curiosity. And I might do it on a Saturday or Sunday. I I just got to carve out that time. But I want to talk to you about it because it is far deeper than we think it is. Far greater. And when I explain it to you, you'll understand why water doesn't have memory. It's not memory. I know we've been told that it has memory, but it isn't. It's not a memory. Anyway, now that you're aroused to curiosity, because that's how I felt. I said, oh, really? Tell me more. What you saying, son? Anywho, I love y'all. And let me just check the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It is really good to see you, coach. Oh, yes, Ray Ray. Listen, Ray Ray, if you know anything about me, I bundle up. I do. I do. I don't expose myself to the cold because I've had that once before and it is not a pleasant experience to have cold on the exterior. It hurts so bad. It really hurts when cold latches onto the exterior because we don't dress warm enough. So I learned my lesson. So I don't do that. I don't act a fool in this cold. Cold is not your friend. Anyhow, y'all, loving you. So I will see you on Monday, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Fanbase, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we don't normally prattle on for more than a half an hour, 40 minutes at most. But today, whew, help us, Lord. It's been well over an hour and 10 minutes, but I digress. So I'll see you then. And if you have questions, let me know, and I'll decide when I want to have that room and that space, because I know there's a lot of people who gonna come and challenge, but I don't want them to challenge. See? I want them to comprehend the principles. It'll help you, for real. Anyway, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 love. Oh yeah. Freak out. You know what? See, the problem with a warm blanket is It's warm. And it wants you to stay ensconced within it. It says to you, "Oh, I'll be a shell of myself if you leave, darling." And I say, "Shell you must remain, honey, because I got to go to work, 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 work." Anyway, I love you. Peace out, everybody. Peace out.